Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. It's going right. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillahi wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in wa ba'd. We're on chapter number 118. Bab al-khuruj ila al-mabqala. إلى المبقلة وحمل الشيء على عاتقه إلى أهله بزبيل. Alright, so this is Bab al-Khuruj. Al-Khuruj is the masdar of kharaja yakhruju khurujan, which means to leave out. Bab al-Khuruj ila al-mabqala. What is al-mabqala? Look at the word. Focus on it. Look at it. Huh? I know it's al-mim is al-mim al-makan. What's the asl of this word? Al-baqal. Al-baquliyat. It's a place where the people go and get the vegetables. Alright, so you go in and get the vegetables. So he said, Bab al-Khuruj ila al-mabqala. So why did he put this in Adab al-Mufrad about going out and getting vegetables? Why? Adab al-Mufrad. What's the shahid here? What's the issue about going out and getting vegetables? Because he said getting vegetables, he said, وَحَمَلِ الشَّيْء, and carrying something عَلَى عَاتِقِهِ إِلَى أَهْلِهِ بِالزَّبِيلِ. Zabil is a little thing, like a little thing that you carry the vegetables. They take it as like a little basket type thing. They put the stick in the middle of it, and they carry it on their shoulders to their family. So they put all the vegetables in it. Because you have a zabil and you have a zanbil. Both of these, and it came in two different narrations. And Al-Adab al-Mufrad, the zabil is al-quffa saghira, and a zanbil is al-quffatun kabira, which is basically the basket, smaller one and a bigger one. So zabil is the smaller one that you carry, and zanbil is the bigger one. But they both mean the same thing. So what's the issue here? Why is this in Adab al-Mufrad? Because the kuffar in Jahiliyyah, they saw it as being ayb, from khawarim al-muru'ah, which means it goes against the customs of the people, that a person who's like a tribal person or a person of lineage or a person who has status, that he goes out and gets vegetables. This is for like servants and people like that, so they consider this as being, below them. And even this exists even till today amongst the Arabs, where there's still tribal societies. In Yemen, if you're a person who goes out and gets vegetables and sells vegetables in the souk, they don't marry you, their daughters. And so this still exists, this aspect of Jahiliyyah still exists even till today. And they say that, they say, huwa yabi' al-jujir, which is a type of vegetable, what do they call it, arugula or whatever, what is it? It's like a arugula, or it's got some weird name in English. Arugula. I think that's what it's called. That's a jir. So if you sell this in the souk, then khalas, you have to marry the daughter of a man who does the same. Like you're not gonna marry from a strong family. And like I said, this exists right now, till today. If you're a barber, you cut hair, you can't marry a girl from a good family. This exists till today. You work in a restaurant, flipping burgers, can't marry a girl from a good family. Huh?
You do it low blow.
Huh?
Doing headshots.
No, you're in America. I'm talking about the reality of the situation. You work you're cooking shawarma and everything like that. You're not going to marry from a very strong tribal family. So, all right. So this is what it's talking about. So this is about going against this aspect of Jahiliyyah, where you see that it's this is not from al-makharim. It is not the things that goes against al-khawarim. About al-muru'ah. The things that go against, the muru'ah of the person. The muru'ah is like what?
Integrity.
Not integrity.
Honor.
It's like his honor, your dignity, your honor, and how because when you do things like this, it's like it's not from a dignified person to do these things, So and of course, there's a lot of different things. It's based on the customs of the people, So like for example, like. Sheikh Al-Uthaymin, rahimahullah, when he was teaching al-Bayquniyah, he gave like the example of a person who just goes out in the souk, eating a sandwich or drinking a cup of coffee. He said that would be considered what? Considered bad, against their customs. So he said these types of things you avoid them. So that's why it's very important that you go to a country and you understand the customs of the people to do what?
To avoid it.
To avoid it. You don't go overseas with that American attitude like, well, we don't do it like this in America, but you're not in America. You're in somebody else's country. And when you're in somebody else's country, you find out the customs of the people and you go by those customs. So you don't disrespect the people. You're not going to a country to disrespect them. So you have to know the customs of the people. Otherwise, because if you continuously go against the customs of the people and you're trying to teach, let's say that you're going there for the purpose of teaching them knowledge, and you constantly go against the customs of the people, what's going to happen?
I'm not gonna listen to you.
They're not going to listen to you. They're not going to want to take knowledge from you because they're going to look at you like, look at this guy. He doesn't even, he goes against every custom that we have of this is the way a person should be. So, so Allah Mustaan. All right, hadith number 234. حدثنا إسحاق بن مخلد عن حماد بن أسامة عن مسعر قال حدثنا عمر بن قيس عن عمرو بن أبي قرة الكندي قال عرض أبي على سلمان أخته. So this is Amr ibn Abi Qurra al-Kindi. He's the one narrating this hadith. He said, قال عرض أبي على سلمان أخته. So his father, he presented his sister to Salman. Salman who? Farisi, yes. So he gave him the opportunity to marry his sister. فأبى, and he refused. He rejected. He said, no, I don't want to marry her. وتزوج مولاة له, and he married مولا. مولاة له, what is a مولا?
Free slave.
Yeah, it's a female slave that he had, and he freed her, and then he married her. يقال لها بقيرة, and that's her name, بقيرة. فبلغ أبا قرة أنه كان بين حذيفة وسلمان شيء. And then Abu Qurra reached him that between Hudayfa and Salman there was something between them, some type of mashaq, problems between them. فأتاه, so he went to him. يطلبه فأخبر أنه في مبقلة له فتوجه إليه. So he went to Salman and he to seek him out, and he was informed that he was في مبقلة له, that he was in the field of vegetables for him, that he was going out to go get vegetables for the family. And this is the shahid from the narration. So the whole other narration, the whole shahid is that what? Here he is, a Sahabi Jalil. This is a Sahabi, and you can't get better than that as far as fadl, as far as status is concerned. And he's out there going out and getting his own vegetables and bringing them back to his family. All right. He said, فَلَقِيَهُ مَعَهُ زَبِيلٌ فِيهِ بَقَلٌ. So he reached him, he met up with him, and he saw that he had a zabil, all right, the basket thing, and it was full of buckle, all right, vegetables, right, milk. And then, right now they use the word buckle in Yemen to mean a fidget, all right, but al-buquliyat is like vegetables and legumes and all these, all these types of things. That's the asl of it in the Arabic language. But if you go to Yemen and say, I want a buckle, they're going to give you the white radish. All right, but that's not what it is in the Arabic language. He said, قَدْ أَدَخَلَ أَصَاهُ فِي عُرْوَةِ الزَّبِيلِ. So he had already, the urwa is the what? I don't know this, it comes in the Quran. Urwatul wuthqa, come on.
I'm waiting for them. No, they're very tight. With a rope knot.
No.
What's one of the things?
No. It's the grip. It's where you grip. It's where you hold.
Grip.
Where the thing doesn't slip out of your hand, because that's the whole thing. And comparing the shahada and the deen to the urwatul wuthqa, the deen doesn't slip from you like you have the bat. It doesn't slip. So it's the part where you hold it. So he put the stick through that part where the handle is, where the handle of the basket is, and he put the stick there so he could place it. He could carry it on his shoulders. He said, قَدْ أَدَخَلَ أَصَاهُ فِي عُرْوَةِ الزَّبِيلِ وَهُوَ عَلَى عَاتِقِهِ, and he's carrying it like that on his shoulder. فَقَالَ يَا أَبَا عَبْدِ اللَّهِ. He said, oh, Father, يَا أَبَا عَبْدِ اللَّهِ. مَا كَانَ بَيْنَكَ وَبَيْنَ حُذَيْفَةَ. He said, what was between you and Hudayfa? قَالَ يَقُولُ سَلْمَانُ. And Salman said, وَكَانَ الْإِنسَانُ عَجُولًا. Alright, this goes back to the ayat وَيَدْعُ الْإِنسَانُ بِشَرِّ دُعَاءَهُ بِالْخَيْرِ وَكَانَ الْإِنسَانُ عَجُولًا. What does this ayat mean? وَيَدْعُ الْإِنسَانُ بِشَرِّ no. Whenever like something afflicts him, he's quick to make dua for evil, just as quick as he is to make dua for khair when khair asabahu. So like if he has like something good happens to him, you know, like he gets money, he's quick to say, oh, Allahumma barik fiqh, Allahumma hadak Allah, wa Allah yubarik fi malik Allah, you know, because he's happy. But then when something bad happens to him, he's quick to say, Allah yal'anahu, Allah, you know, and then he's just as quick to make dua for shar as he is for khayr. And that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَيَدَعُ الْإِنسَانُ بِالشَّرِّ دُعَاءَهُ بِالْخَيْرِ. Alright, بِالْخَيْرِ. وَكَانَ الْإِنسَانُ عَجُولًا. Because, you know, the human beings, that they're just from their nature, is that they're ajula. They're always musta'jil. They don't have patience. They can't control themselves. They have no self-control. So whenever as soon as evil comes, he's just as quick to make dua for evil. At the time of evil, he doesn't have the patience in the hard times, and he doesn't, you know, just like he doesn't have the patience in the good times. All right. So he said, فَانْطَلَقَا, and then they walked off. حَتَّى أَتَيَا دَارَ Salman, until they reached the house of Salman. And you notice that they said dar. Again, they didn't say Beit Salman. You know, this is something that, you know, again, this shows you how the Arabic language has changed. Because the Beit is am. Like we talked about the word Beit before, the Beit is what? No, the Beit in the makan alladhi tabitu fihi is a place where you stay the night at. And that could be anywhere. You could stay the night in a tree. That's your mabit. That's Beituk alayla. All right, but a dar is your place of qarar. This is where you stay. This is where you remain. That's your house. So he said they approached his house. فَدَخَلَ سَلْمَانُ الدَّارِ, and then Salman entered the house. فَقَالَ السَّلَامُ عَلَيْكُمْ, and he gave the people salams. ثُمَّ أَذِنَ لِأَبِي قُرَّةٍ. And what did he do this for? He entered the house first, and this is appropriate manners. And we still see these manners. They still exist today. And most of you see in Yemen and Saudi, the man enters the house first to do what?
Salam.
He gives salam to the people of the house and tell them to clear out. Because there's a man coming through, and he doesn't want his wife or somebody or his daughters or somebody just walking around. So he makes sure that the pathways are clear, and he clears everything out before the man enters into the house. Everybody still does this today except for the liberals. I met one liberal guy, Saudi guy. You know, he just walked right in the house, and I wasn't thinking, actually, I was tired. And I walked behind him. You know, I was just walking with him. And then when we got inside the house, there was the little opening in the house in the courtyard. His family was sitting there. And I ran out the house. Actually, I jumped up. I said, oh, astaghfirullah. And I jumped up and I jumped out. He said, what was you? Come on, man, there's no problem. I said, yeah, there is a problem. Get your family out. You know, I had to tell him to tell his family, you know, to put his family. He was just like, his family was just hanging out there with the child. And he was like, no, there's no problem. Come on, Akhi. I'm like, yeah, there is a problem. I ain't going to tell your family to leave. Put your family in the back. You know, imagine that. These liberal idiots, Akhi. You have to tell them what to do with their own family. You respect their family more than they respect their own family. You know, imagine that. Allah musta'an. All right, so he said after that, he said, Assalamu alaikum, thumma adhina li Abi Qurra. So after that, once he saw that everything was clear, he gave Abu Qurra the permission to enter. فَدَخَلْ, and he entered. فَإِذَا نَمَطٌ مَوْضُوعٌ عَلَى بَابٍ. And a namat is what? It's a type of little basalt, like a little, like carpet, like a cloth thing, you know. And he placed this over the door, you know.
Doormat?
Huh?
The doormat?
No, but he said, فَإِذَا نَمَطٌ مَوْضُوعٌ عَلَى الْبَابِ. عَلَى الْبَابِ, which end of the bab. All right, no, they don't have doormats back in those days. They had a doorstep, which is that's not a namat. All right. Right. Basically, he didn't have like a door. He just had like this cloth over the door. He's poor. He's showing his state, like, you know. All right, so he said, فَإِذَا نَمَطٌ مَوْضُوعٌ عَلَى بَابٍ وَعِنْدَ رَأْسِهِ لَبِنَاتٍ. And then above his head was a bunch of labinat. Labinat is like mud bricks. Mud bricks. And he said, وَإِذَا قُرَطَاتِ. Quratat, you have a quratat with qiratit. Two languages, it's just like al-yasir min kulli shay. Al-yasir min kulli shay. Like it's just like it's just the real bare minimum, of what you, like basically his house, he just had just the bare minimum of what he needed to live on a day-to-day basis to keep his family where they can be comfortable and nothing else. There was no thrills and frills and frills and thrills or whatever they call that. It was just like what? Just a very bare bones basic, just like a little firash, a little thing to cover the door, a little, and that's it. He said, فَقَالَ اجْلِسْ عَلَى فِرَاشِ مَوْلَاتِكَ الَّتِي تُمَحِّدُ لِنَفْسِهَا ثُمَّ أَنْشَأَ. Alright, so he said, sit down on the firash. The firash is like a little mattress, right? Anything that you lie down on. He said, عَلَى فِرَاشِ مَوْلَاتِكَ. The firash of your servant. التي تمهد لنفسها. Alright, and تمهد, it means what? And تبسط, like they're saying like this is your female servant, that she lays it out so she could lie down, and like she could lie down on, to spread it out, to lie down on it. So this is what she lies down on, the servant. The servant here is obviously referring to who? Freed servant, Mawlat, is Salman's wife. Alright, because he freed the Mawla and he married her. He said, Allati tumahidu li nafsiha, thumma ansha'a yuhaddithu. And then he began to speak to him. He said, فقال أن حذيفة كان يحدث بأشياء كان يقولها رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم بغضبه. So Salman saying that Hudayfa used to speak about the things that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to say while he was angry. Alright, in a state of anger. Alright, لِأَقْوَامٍ, and he used to say this to the people, and Salman, he didn't like that. Alright, he's basically saying, like, this is the issue between him and Hudayfa, and is that Hudayfa used to speak about the things that the Prophet ﷺ used to say, that when in a state of anger, because he's from Bani Adam. Alright, he's still a human being, he's the Prophet ﷺ, but he gets angry. He gets angry, But the thing about it is the Prophet ﷺ made dua that anybody that he spoke to in a harsh way while in a state of anger, that he makes it for that person dua. And he makes dua like that it's the opposite, that the person gets the opposite of whatever he says in that state. Alright, so he said, فَغَضَبِهِ لِأَقْوَامٍ فَأُوتِيَ, and he said, and it was brought to me, فَأَسْأَلُ عَنْهَا, and then فَأُسْأَلُ عَنْهَا, and then I'm asked about it. So the people come to me and then they ask me about these things that Hudayfa is narrating, رضي الله عنه. He said, فَأَقُولُ حُذَيْفَةُ أَعْلَمُ بِمَا يَقُولُ. And then he would respond by saying that Hudayfa is more knowledgeable about what he says than I am about what he says. So he said, basically go back to Hudayfa and ask him about it. Why are you asking me, Alright, so he says, and that's a good way to respond, because a lot of the people, they go from one person to the next, asking questions and taking these, I heard this sheikh speaking about this, and they go to this other sheikh for what? For the purposes of causing fitna. And Salman, radiallahu anhu, you see in the beautiful way that he closed that door quickly by saying he's more knowledgeable about what he says. So go ask him. Why are you asking me? Oh, that's it. Door closed. Intaha. So he says, alright, after that he said, فَجَاءَنِي حُذَيْفَةً. He said, and Hudayfa came to me, فَقَالَ يَا Salman, ibn Salman. So Hudayfa came to him and said, O Salman, ibn Salman. He said, the son of the mother of Salman. And this is kind of like something that was said in the state of what?
Happiness.
Huh?
Not on anger.
This is a state of anger. You don't call a person the son of his mother in a state of happiness. That's an insult. That's an insult, because what you're doing is now you're not giving him his nasab going back to his father. You're giving him the nasab going back to what? To his mother. And this is what the Arabs used to do back in the days, that they would insult the person by giving him his nasab going back to what? Huh? No, to the weakest person in his lineage. Even if it's not his mother, because maybe his mother's from a big family, but he'll go down his lineage and find the weakest person in the lineage, and he'll call him Iya ibn Fulan, and he'll call him by the son of that name. Alright. We don't have Bukhari with us. If we have Bukhari, I will show you the hadith in Bukhari. But Abu Sufyan, he did this in the hadith when they went to Haraqqa, Alim al-Rum, so you can go back and review that, revise that hadith, inshallah. It's right at the beginning of Sahih Bukhari. Alright, so he said, look it up on sunnah.com. Look up the hadith of Abi Sufyan. So he said, so he came up to me and said, Ya Salman ibn Ummi Salman. So then he said, فَقُلْتُ Ya Hudayfa ibn Ummi Hudayfa. So he responded the same manner. He said, Oh Hudayfa, the son of the mother of Hudayfa. Alright. لَتَنْتَهِيَنْ. He said, you're going to stop this. لَتَنْتَهِيَنْ عَلَقْتُبَنَّ فِيكَ إِلَى عُمَرْ. Or I'm going to write to Umar about your behavior, like about what you're doing. So he said, فَلَمَّا خَوَّفْتُهُ بِعُمَرْ تَرَكَنِي. So he said, once I shook him up, like I told him I'm going to write to Umar, he said he left me alone. Did you find it? Just go to sunnah.com, Sahih Bukhari, like the third hadith.
Oh, third, okay.
It's the very first chapter. Yeah. So he said, فَلَمَّا خَوَّفْتُهُ بِعُمَرَ تَرَكَنِي. وقال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم من ولد آدم أنا. So this is the statement of the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So we get down to this statement. He said, I am from the son of Adam. فَأَيُّمَا عَبْدٌ مِنْ أُمَّتِي لَعَنْتُهُ لَعْنَ. So he said, any servant from my ummah, and this is the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam saying this. He said, for any servant from my ummah that I cursed him in any way, I'll sabbabtu, or I insulted him sabbatan. Yeah, I insulted him in any fashion. في غير كنهه. في غير كنهه, it means what? في غير ما هو فيه. Alright, or something that he didn't deserve. Something that he didn't deserve. Alright, the Arabs say al-kalamu fi ghayri kunhihi ay fi ghayri mahallihi. Alright, so if it's something that a person deserves and it's something that he's earned, but if it's a person that, like maybe, you're having a bad day, you're not, and the person does something wrong and you get angry and you lose control and you insult him, but he didn't deserve it, that's what he's talking about. Fi ghayri kunhihi. Like in a fi ghayri mahallihi. In a manner that he did not deserve. فَاجْعَلْهَا عَلَيْهِ صَلَاةً. اجْعَلْهَا عَلَيْهِ what? So here the Prophet ﷺ making dua that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes it, salatan alayhi. Right, it's dua alayhi. So it's dua for the person if he says anything of this nature to the person. This hadith is authentic. Alright, this hadith is authentic. You find the hadith or no?
كتاب بدأوي واحد.
I told you, find the hadith of Abi Sufyan.
I kept saying Aisha and Abbas.
Probably that's the fourth. Alright, it's the actual, it's narrated by Abdullah ibn Abbas, but it said Abu Sufyan ibn Harb informed me. So he said, where is it? So he said, after Herakl read the letter from the Prophet ﷺ that Dihya brought to him, he said, كَثُرَ عِنْدَهُ الصَّخَبْ. Like, the people, they got real loud and everybody was going back and forth and the people were getting very angry about the whole letter. Huh? Oh, I thought you said something. So he said, كَثُرَ عِنْدَهُ what? الصَّخَبْ. Alright, so he said, وَرَتَفَعَتِ الْأَصْوَاتِ. And all their voices started, to become raised. وَأُخْرِجْنَا. And we were kicked out. فَقُلْتُ. And this is Abu Sufyan saying, فَقُلْتُ لِأَصْحَابِ حِينَ أُخْرِجْنَا. So I said to my companions when we got kicked out, لَقَدْ أُمِرَ أَمْرَ إِبْنِ أَبِي كَبْشَةٍ. He said, this is we've seen the affair, this is crazy, the affair of Ibn Abi Kabsha. And who is he referring to? Huh? Ibn Abi Kabsha, he's referring to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But he's speaking about him in a disrespectful manner because Abu Sufyan at this time hadn't accepted Islam. So he's saying what he said at that time. He's saying, this is what happened, this is what I said. He's being honest because obviously Abu Sufyan became Muslim. But at this time he wasn't Muslim. So he said, قَدْ أُمِرَ أَمْرَ Ibn Abi Kabsha. this goes back to one of the great grandparents from the mother's side of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So he's calling him by this name as a disrespectful thing because this is one of the weakest parts of his lineage, from the mother's side. He's not going to call him from his father's side because the father's side he got what? Yeah, I mean, he got the strongest lineage amongst Quraysh. He's from Hashim, so I mean, amongst them, khalas. That's it. They respect his lineage, so can't disrespect him by calling him by, Ibn Abdul Muttalib, right? So he's got to call him by what? Got to call him by, he's got to go down, until find the weakest person in all of his lineage and call him by this name. And that's what, this is from the traits of the Arabs of Jahiliyyah, And we see, all of these traits of Jahiliyyah, they still exist in the people today who don't have the correct tarbiyat al-Islamiyya. All right, because it's the correct tarbiyat, the correct nurturing and raising up the people on Islam. That's what takes that stuff out. And we see all this stuff all the time. People, they get angry, and then what do they want to do? They get really angry at the person. So what do? They'll use like a racist term or anything just to to make the person feel low, and so this stuff will come out. This is Jahiliyyah, and this is not something that Muslims we should ever partake in. Ever. These are the types of the qualities that we should do away with completely. But the shahid of the hadith is about the fact that he went to Salman, and Salman was where? He was in his garden. He was out in the fields getting vegetables, to show that this doesn't take away from a person's status and it doesn't change, because there's two things here that we have to focus on. Number one, that Salman was out there getting vegetables, and two, that the guy's father had offered his sister for him in marriage. Salman is not even from the Arab. All right, he's from the Persians. So that goes to show, different things. Like number one, because he offered his sister for him for marriage, and two, he was poor. You see his situation. He lived very frugally, and he kept only the things that he needed to keep. And he went out and got his vegetables on his own and did things on his own, which was considered a ayb amongst the Arabs in Jahiliyyah. Even with that, the father still offered to marry him the sister, right? But he refused and ended up marrying his freed servant. All right, we'll take this next hadith, inshallah, so we can finish up the bab. So he said, and this hadith number 235, حدثنا ابن أبي شيبة قال حدثنا يحيى بن عيسى عن الأعمش عن حبيب عن سعيد بن جبير عن ابن عباس رضي الله عنهما. Beautiful chain there. قال عمر رضي الله عنه اخرجوا بنا إلى أرض قومنا فخرجنا. So Umar said to the people, he said, hey, let's go out to the land of our people. فخرجنا. And then obviously when he said أرض قومنا, it means what? And the tribe, right? Where his family, or where the tribe that he's from, like the land that they controlled, like they owned, it was their land. And when the qawm, obviously, your qawm amongst the Arabs is your tribe and your family. فخرجنا فكنت أنا وأبي ابن كعب في مؤخر الناس. And he said, and I was with, so this is Ibn Abbas speaking. He said, Ibn Abbas, he said, I was with Ubay ibn Ka'b, right? في مؤخر الناس. And if في مؤخر الناس, it means what? He said this to the Arab now, they will laugh at you. But the مؤخر الناس, it means it's في آخر الناس. I mean, in the last part of the people. When the people went out, Ubay and Ibn Abbas, they were at the back, in the back part of the people. All right. فحاجت سحابة. حاجت سحابة. What does that mean? Like the hayyaj, it means the what? Start like moving in a violent, strong manner. Sahaba is what? Clouds. The clouds that are coming with rain. So as they're moving and they're going to that village or that area that Omar's taking them, these dark clouds just came over real fast, like in a very quick manner. All right. فقال أبي, and then Ubay said, Allahumma saraf anna adaha. So Ubay said what? He made dua and he said, oh Allah, keep the harm of the storm that's coming, keep it away from us. All right, but he's only making dua for him and Ibn Abbas. All right, so keep that in mind now. He said, فَلَهِقْنَاهُمْ. So then we caught up because they were behind. Like they were in the last part. So he said when we finally caught up to the people, وَقَدْ ابْتَلَّتْ رِحَالَهُم. He said all of their riding animals and everything is completely soaking wet, like it's all wet, right? And he said, فَقَالُوا مَا أَصَابَكُمْ الَّذِي أَصَابَنَا. So when they saw Ubay and Ibn Abbas, they're dry, right? So they come up and they said, what? Y'all didn't get, hit by what we got hit with the rain. And he said, إِنَّهُ دَعَا اللَّهَ عَزَّ وَجَلَّ أَنْ يَصْرِفَ عَنَّا أَذَاهَا. So he said, so Ibn Abbas said that, Ubay, he made dua that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us from from the harm of the storm. فقال عمر ألا دعوتم لنا معكم. He said, would you not just make dua for all of us? Why didn't you just make dua for yourselves? Because they came up and they're dry and everybody's soaking wet. He said, you should have made dua for all of us then. Why did you just make dua for yourselves? So Allah understand. And this is Hassan. This narration is also Hassan.
Wait, what was the shahid from the hadith?
The shahid is probably that they went out to the village. And that's as far as the connection about the bukhuliyat, there's no shahid, but they went out. Who knows? Allah knows best why Bukhari put that there, but it's more than likely because of the way that the manner that they went out. He's Umar, Amir al-Mu'mineen, and he just goes out with the people, and it goes,
And that Amir means leader, right?
So he went out with the people.
Because he said Amir no means prince.
I didn't say old. I said it.
It does mean prince, though.
Yeah. The thing, but when it comes to like Umar, you don't say, and the prince of there, and the prince of the believers.
This is what he does. You just gotta be patient. He does it to Ibrahim. You just gotta be patient.
Off my coughs.
Yeah, Ibrahim started coughing and he started laughing at him. He said, finally get my revenge. This is what he does. You gotta be patient. Questions before we go to Bulugh Maram, inshallah.
This one's from Hassan. It says, is it okay to work an IT role in real estate, investment, trust company, where overwhelming of their profits are from apartments, rental income, property management, and buying and selling properties? But they may buy properties from riba, and they have other businesses like mortgage advising, but not directly give mortgage and hospitality services like catering, beer, and haram food.
Anything like that, akhi, even if it happened. Like if the majority of the time, let's say the majority of the time you're just renting out apartments. But like once a month, you have to make up a contract or be involved in the contract with any type of interest, and it's not permissible for you to work at that place. Find another job. There's a lot of jobs there. You don't have to be a part of that stuff. Real estate is probably one of the messiest places to get involved in. Real estate, car sales, things like that. It's just the messiest. It's so difficult to stay away from the haram and those two things.
Smoke shops. Smoke shops.
And they smoke shops, haram from the asl. But these things like selling and buying houses, selling and buying cars, the asl of it is halal. The haram comes into it because of the way that they're doing the tijara. But the smoke shop, the asl of it is haram from the beginning. So khalas. Like haram doesn't come into that. It is haram from the asl. You saying I'm going to open up a smoke shop, it's already haram from the asl. You.
Oh, okay. I thought you were doing something. And Muslim alhamdulillah al-alamin says, is it okay to have is it to have the proper etiquettes for buying? I think when we were talking about the selling the vegetables. Because this question was in the beginning.
No. I explained that. I said that the whole issue is about him going out and getting the vegetables himself. He wasn't selling and buying them. He was getting them for his family. He might have been buying them, but selling them, but that's not in the hadith, so that wasn't in the narration. Generally, if a person is going to take a zimbil and fill it up with vegetables, it's because he's going to go out and sell them, but that's not, Allah knows best.
MA says, if you fold your pants before Salah, does it take from your reward, يعني, to avoid isbal?
Just if you want to avoid this bow, shorten your pants. You don't avoid this bow by folding up your garments.
Abu Nusayba.
Because the people don't understand it. This bow is not just for the salah. It's for all time. You can't have this bow at any time. Whether in the salah or outside of the salah. Look.
Abu Nusayba says, are we allowed to disseminate or spread stuff? I'll ignore that question. That question is going to cause fitna.
You already started reading.
No, it's about other people. That's why. And you strictly are against them. Hamid says, I don't know, because he asked this question too early. Because now it's already too late. He says, what is the meaning of this hadith? I don't know what hadith.
You don't have to ask that. Those are done.
Yeah. So it's not permissible to fold your clothes up before you pray, right?
No, you shorten your clothes.
What about like at the beginning of the day? Like what if you cuff your pants up at the beginning of the day when you get dressed?
You don't cuff your pants up, you shorten your pants. Your garment shouldn't be long anyways. The whole point is about shortening the garment. Huh? These are pants, whatever, garment that is below, nothing goes below the ankle. Your toes are in, huh? Huh? No, you don't fold it up, you cut it, shorten it. Huh? You can't fold up an izar anyway. No, it's not talking about that, no.
So you,
Talking about the bottom, like the pants and stuff like that.
so even if you cuff your
So
pants,
some people, their pants are too long, and then they come in the salat, they roll their pant legs up. Yeah.
so are you sinful if you roll your pants up at the beginning of the day?
Because your pants are too long anyway.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you are.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's the whole point, is to avoid the isbal. You cut the pants, shorten them, because what are you going to do when you go out the salat? You're going to roll them back down. You're still committing a major sin, so khalas.
Even if you keep them all rolled up the whole day until you
Can
take them
you?
off? Yeah. Yeah, I put my jeans in the wash, they come out still cuffed up.
It's easy.
Mm.
That's what we do.
Mm. When he takes too long like that, he's cherry picking.
No, I'm not, because I was
Cherries.
going there.
Yeah. He's going out to the mabqala and getting cherries now.
Hamid says, can a woman go to school alone, or a woman going to the supermarket nearby, or anything else like the lakes?
Nah, because that's not travel. As long as she can go there without fitna, then it's not an issue. The issue is about the woman traveling. She's not allowed to travel except with a mahram.
What distance would it be considered as traveling?
Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said Yawma wa Layla. So, but it goes back to the urf. So whatever distance is considered traveling, like a woman getting up and just going like from Fresno to like Stockton or something, or Bakersfield, come on, alone at night, traveling, no, that's too dangerous. She has a mahram, khalas. Got an evil dude, boy, she stops at a gas station in the middle of nowhere, beautiful girl, and then next thing you know, they see her alone, they follow her, knock her off the road, and next thing you know, you never hear from Fulana ever again.
All it takes is just to leave the house.
The thing is, the mosquitoes, they don't leave you alone. They'll keep coming back. The fly will just go away.
Yeah, because of the ether. The mosquitoes, they like the perfume.
Questioner named MA says, what's the hukm on jury duty?
Tell them you can't participate in it because of your deen, your religion. You don't participate in their system. It's a situation where you go there and you tell them I'm Muslim. I don't, that's it. You said, just tell them I don't participate in this stuff.
Abu Nusayba says, how to deal with and bring back maternal uncle who is upon Khariji manhaj / aqidah and is stubborn and who passes takfir like it's candy It says there are no Muslim countries or leaders.
How you bring him back? Bring him back to what?
Like, bring him back to his sound mind.
Oh, no, Allah can do that, Akhi, man. All you can do is just, sit down with him.
He's here. Other than Friday.
Assalamu
Hamza number 3 is back.
What do we owe this honor to, man?
Ice cream.
Huh?
Ice cream.
You know I go to school with him?
Clovis West.
See, I guess you guys are the best then, aren't you? You called him over just for the ice cream.
I didn't call him over for the ice cream. Did you want ice cream?
You guys have ice cream today?
No, there's a Yemen's brother. He opened the ice cream shop nearby.
Oh, Allah?
Yeah, it's very nice ice cream.
Is that what the music is outside?
No.
Go ahead.
Striving Slave says, for the hadith where two men/women can't be under same covers, can two sisters of age share a bed and same comforter?
Once they reach that age of Tamiz, like I said, 10 years old, فارق بينهم في المضاجع, separate them from the beds. They're not allowed to sleep in the same beds together.
For example, like if two men go on a travel, right? And they go in a hotel room and there's only one bed.
One sleeps on the floor. You're gonna sleep in the bed with another dude for?
No. I'm saying, can you kick him out?
Kick him out what?
The hotel room.
You talking about kick him out of the hotel room?
Like let him sleep in the car.
Why would you do that? Sleep on the floor. See?
It's comfortable sleeping.
If you know that you're gonna be in one hotel room, just bring like a little mattress, like a little foam, little roll up like camping mattress type thing, and just go sleep on the floor.
Sleeping on the floor is comfortable. Sleeping on the floor is comfortable.
So why are you gonna kick him out the room? Give him the bed and you sleep on the floor.
Who says I'm me? It's not me.
You said kick him out.
No, I said can you kick him out?
Why would you kick him out?
Why not?
You go sleep in the car while I go and enjoy this big bed. Well, there's a word for this in Arabic, and it's called what? Anani. Anani.
I know what it means.
This is a good word that you guys can learn. Anani, it means what? Selfish. It's just like, I just think only about myself. I want to be comfortable. I don't care how uncomfortable you are as long as I'm comfortable. What you going to do? Order pizza and give him the crust or what? You going to eat the pizza and just throw the crust to him?
They can pay for it.
And you probably wouldn't even get stuffed crust. You probably just give them, they won't even get like cheese. You'll just get bread, just plain bread. Take some marinara sauce and dip the bread in that. Enjoy yourself after you done ate the whole pizza. Allah musta'an.
Hamid says, if we're walking outside with their sister, family member, should we be behind or in front?
Where should the man walk or what? Should walk in front of her. That's generally the customs of the people. Because you see that even in the salat, the men stand in front, the women stand behind. So that's for the salat, and khalas. The same thing when you walk. The man stands in the front, the woman stands. Why would you put the woman at the front? She's going to be confronting everything coming towards her. The man confronts her.
Abu Nusayba says, should we as Muslims as well as student of knowledge train physically to prepare for martyrdom like shahada and jihad fi sabilillah one day when the opportunity presents itself and conditions are met?
If that does not take away from you learning this deen, like where the person gets so into like working out and doing exercise and everything to the point where he neglects his duties in the deen, because you're dealing with a maybe, what if, a hypothetical, something that might happen in the future, where you need to put your priorities to things that are happening right now. So that is a strong possibility for the future, so the Muslim should always be prepared and be in good shape and be ready, but it shouldn't take him to the point where that's what he spends all his time doing. And he definitely shouldn't be up on Instagram taking selfies in mirrors, flexing his muscles and acting like a little girl. You know, you go, you know, anything that a Muslim does, we do it quietly. Akhi. We don't do it to show off. You know, you do it quietly. You go and you handle your business in a quiet manner. Do what you got to do. Let the people be surprised when the time comes. But you don't go around just showing off and doing it. But don't neglect your duties right now. Right now, the most important thing is that people need to focus on knowledge. Knowledge is the most important thing. We have a lot of Muslims that can do pull-ups and push-ups and all this type of stuff. Actually, we don't need any more of that. We need Muslims that can understand their deen and teach the people the deen. That's what we're lacking in. So don't neglect that.
Hamid says, the question I asked you yesterday regarding the hadith.
Yesterday we weren't here.
Striving Slave says,
What was the question though? He means the day before yesterday. Why are you going to skip his question because of that?
Because of who we were in? I think talking about the thighs. No, I asked you yesterday regarding the hadith in Muslim. Yeah, about the mas'ala of showing.
I didn't go, Akhi, I've been busy with this book, man. I've not gone back and looked at nothing. Nothing. I didn't go back and check who Sufyan was. I didn't go back and check anything about any of these issues. I've been busy with this book. I had to upload the book to Amazon 3 times, Akhi, because we had a problem with the cover. You know, so the first time that Amazon sent me a message and it said check the title, so I went and changed the title and checked the title and then uploaded the book for the second time. Then I read the email, so I should have just read the email of Amazon first, but the email said you have to fix the cover, and I didn't see that. I just saw check the title. So then I had to wait 10 hours for them to send the book back again and then say fix the cover. So at that time, alhamdulillah, the brother had already fixed the cover. So now the book is available, but we had to do it like 3 times. So I've been busy with that, Akhi. I've not been thinking about no other issues.
Did you want to take a little model?
Did
you want to take a little model?
Yes, I did.
The questions are just going to keep going and going and going.
All right, بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قال الحافظ ابن حجر رحمه الله تعالى باب القسم. All right, al-qasm here comes from the word qasama, which means to distribute. And what is bab al-qasm here? What is the qasm here that it's referring to?
Food on the volume? I didn't see the hadith, but I was assuming from previous class.
Man, this is not the book on food, Akhi. This is the book on marriage.
Yeah, the walima.
Bab al-qasm, that stuff's done. That's bab al-walima, that's over.
Oh.
This is bab al-qasm. And al-qasm, it means that you distribute the days. This is for the person who is married to 1 wife, 2 wives, 3 wives, 4 wives. All right, that he distributes his time with his wife equally. All right, so even to the point where the ulama say that even if the person has only 1 wife, that he should at least spend at least 1 night every 4 nights with her, because that would have been the distribution if he had what? If he had 4 wives. So at least 1 night and every 4 nights he should spend that night specifically with his wife, giving her her rights and doing the things that, you know, he's supposed to be doing with his wife, right? So this is the qasm, all right? So the qasm is, but generally, this chapter is talking about the man that has more than 1 wife, all right? More than 1 wife. All right, when we talk about the qasm, what is the qasm talking about? The distribution, what is it talking about? It's not just the days.
The hours of the day?
No.
Qasma?
Well, you could say al-qasma or al-qasm. Both are the same meaning.
You gotta divide everything equally between them.
Yeah, so the food, the clothing, the days. Alright, so where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَلَن تَسْتَطِيعُوا أَن تَعْدِلُوا بَيْنَ النِّسَاءِ وَلَوْ حَرَصْتُمْ. So here, this is talking about al-qasm, right? وَلَن تَسْتَطِيعُوا أَن تَعْدِلُوا بَيْنَ النِّسَاءِ وَلَوْ حَرَصْتُمْ. You know? So what does this mean? Here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling you that you will never be able to be just in your distribution of stuff amongst the women, even if you tried to the best of your capabilities. And then after that, what he said? فَلَا تَمِيلُوا كُلَّ الْمَيْلِ فَتَذَرُوهَا كَالْمُعَلَّقَةِ. So what does this ayah mean? Are you quiet now? Or are you letting other people answer? No, you answer. Go.
No.
No, stop. You don't need to go to Google.
I wasn't even on Google. I was on. I don't know if it says rock and malaqa means, but I know the first part.
Explain the first part.
You won't have the ability, like even if you try as hard to be, like to spend equal amount of time with all the wives, like in every single thing, like time, money, and whatnot.
Amino means to lean against.
Wrong answer.
Okay, خلاص, يلا, move on.
This is about the love and desires. It's not about food. It's obviously anybody I can buy. I buy her a bag of rice. I buy her a bag of rice. I buy her a bag of rice. I buy her a dress. I buy her a dress. I buy her a dress. That's not difficult. You know you can do that. Everybody has that within their capabilities. But you can't control which wife you love more, which wife you desire more. All right. So Ibn Kathir, when he talked about this ayah, he said, rahimahullah, he said, "Ay lan tastati'u an ayyuha nas, oh people, you will never be able to, and what tasawu bayna nisa, to bring equality between the women, min jami' al-wujuh, from all aspects. We're not talking about the actual buying things, the nafaqah. We're talking about from all the different aspects. فإنه when حصل القسم الصوري, which is the القسم الصوري is what? That you fulfill your obligations as far as the nafaqah, you're spending on them. That you got it. You might get that qasam. You might be just as far as distributing the food equally, clothing equally, and everything. But he said what? He said laylatan wa layla. فلا بد من التفاوت في المحبة والشهوة والجماع. So he said that there's no doubt that there's going to be a tafawut. Means what? Differences of there's going to be one wife that you love more, that you desire more, and you desire her more than you desire the other wife. So you're not going to be able to be just in those types of things. When you're alone with that wife, you might be more passionate than you be with another wife, right? Because you just don't have that type of love and desire for the other one. But whatever. So this is what happens. Maybe one wife, she's getting older. The other, now you go and you get married to a younger wife. What do you think you're gonna be going to the older wife the same as you go to the younger wife? Absolutely not. Yeah, absolutely not. It's gonna be different. So this bab, you'll never be able to be just with the women. Your love for the women, your desire from the women, you'll never be able to be just. But you have to be just in what?
Provision.
And provisions. And what you provide for them. And then after that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, فَلَا تَمِيلُوا كُولَ الْمَيْلِ. لَا تَمِيلُوا. Don't be inclined to one woman, solely. Like, you just give everything, all the love and all the caring for her, and leave the other woman. كُولَ الْمَيْلِ. Like, everything that you're inclined towards is this one woman, and when you leave the other woman, تَذَرُوهَا كَالْمُعَلَّقَةِ. كَالْمُعَلَّقَةِ, it means she's like, لَا مُتَزَوِّجْ وَلَا طالق. You understand? She's not married and she's not divorced. She's just mu'allaqa. She's just hanging in the middle. Where you don't, she can't go out and get married because you're still married to her, but you treat her like you're not married to her. So he said, don't leave her just hanging like this. You treat them as equally as you can, but don't just sit there and be inclined towards one woman and leave off the other woman, because that's oppression. Even if it's in your desires, you still have to give the woman her rights. If you can't give her her rights, then what? Divorce her and let somebody else give her the rights. Yeah. The only true thing that a kafir ever said, I remember from a song in the 90s. What did he say? If you don't want her, don't waste her time. Khalas. You don't want her. You can't give her her rights, what? Let her go. Let her go and let somebody else give her her rights. Yeah. That's what I was talking about in my book, the book that I just wrote. See, I said that. This is the evil of music. The even stuff that I haven't heard for 30-something years. It's been 30-something years since that, that song came out like in the early 90s, but still the lyrics still stuck in my head. Still stuck in my head. Still, I can still even remember the intonation of how the dude used to sing the song. You understand?
Remember the songs of the cartoons I used to watch when I was 6 and 7 years old.
Yeah, but it's mostly the music and stuff and everything with it. They get stuck in your head. Yeah. It's evil. It's evil. Yeah, man. SubhanAllah. All right. So, any questions about that? So that's the qasam. Alright, and Aisha radiallahu anha, now we're going to see how it is from the hadith. And Aisha radiallahu anha قالت كان رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يقسم بين نسائه فيعدل. So Aisha radiallahu anha, she reported that the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to distribute the days amongst his women فيعدل, and he used to be just. ويقول اللهم هذا قسمي فيما أملك. He said, "Oh Allah, this is my distribution from what I have control over." Because he has control over, okay, you get this day, she gets this day, she gets this day. You get this, you get this, you get this. He has control over that, right? But what is the thing that he doesn't have control over?
Love.
Yeah, what goes on in his heart, and the feelings in his heart. So he said, فَلَا تَلُمْنِي فِيمَا تَمْلِكْ وَلَا أَمْلِكْ. And he said, then don't blame me for what you control and I don't control. And that's the state of the heart. The love that a person has for another person is in the heart. It's nothing that we can control. You're just naturally inclined to certain people. The Prophet ﷺ said, Al-Arawahu, what? What are y'all talking for?
I know you lost the track of people.
Al-Arawahu junudun mujannada. What does that mean?
It's like the arwah met like before we were created.
Yeah, the souls before the souls were created,
The souls
but they were created
first,
together, like in bunches, right? So the al-arwah junudun mujannada. So they were created in bunches. فما اعترف ما عرف اعترف وما تناكر وش. Well, how's the word? Look up the hadith right now. I forgot the last part of the hadith.
What did you say 2 minutes ago?
Huh?
Wrong.
No, because the shahid of the hadith, al-arwahu junudun mujannada. And that means that like all of the souls of the people were created as grouped together. So even though we're all Muslim, that doesn't mean that we're all going to be like buddy. Because we're all, those souls that were grouped together, when they go into the body, then they're going to be with the people that they were grouped together with in that creation. That's just how it is, So you're going to have certain individuals you're inclined towards. And other people that you're not inclined towards. You just can't get along with them. You can't, you know what I'm saying? You just, and this is just natural. These are just personal things. Again, and that's why we don't place the importance of our issues on personal things. Because all of this goes back to that, these issues. And when it's a deen issue, that's a whole other story. So he said, الناس معادن كمعادن الفضة والذهب خيارهم في الجاهلية خيارهم في الإسلام إذا فقهوا والأرواح جنود مجندة فما تعارف منها ائتلف وما تناكر منها اختلف. Huh?
He was right. Ta'aruf.
Yeah, he was right. Yeah. So he said that the people are like ma'adin, like materials, like gold and silver. Gold is with gold, and it comes up with gold. Silver is with silver. It comes up with the silver. It all, so each person is like, they're in line with like that mineral that they are, like, just like this. خيارهم في الجاهلية خيارهم في الإسلام إذا فقهوا. What does that mean?
Like the leaders of the Jahiliyyah, like in Islam, they will still be the leaders if they became Muslims.
Yeah, if they had status, whatever status they had, they were the tribal leaders or whatever, they'll keep that same status when they come into Islam, as long as like either faqahu, if they have an understanding in the deen. But if they refuse to get that understanding in the deen, then khalas, then they go to the bottom of the barrel. But as long as they come into the deen and they get the understanding, then they can remain the leader of their people in that position. They keep their positions. All right. He said, إِذَا فَقُهُ وَالْأَرْوَاحُ جُنُودٌ مُجَنَّدَةٌ. So all of the souls, they're all like just like that. They're all created together, right, in bunches. فَمَا تَعَارَفَ مِنْهَا اِعْتَلَفَ. So whatever they know from each other, what? اِعْتَلَفَ. So that's what you do. When you're going out to meet people, what are you trying to do? We're all Muslim, but again, we have... Yeah, exactly. Talaf. You're trying to find the things that we know from each other that we share. Because if you sit down with a person and you don't share anything, you don't have the same taste in food, you don't have the same taste in books, you don't have the same, hobbies or things that you like to do in your free time, hey, you're not going to be friends with that person, are you? This person likes to go out, this person likes to stay in. This person likes Chinese food, this person is allergic to Chinese food. You know, it's like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like you're going to see that you're not going to be friends with that person, right? Because you have nothing in common. So the people, whenever they get to know each other, they're trying to find the things that what? Ta'aruf. So they come together on those things that they know. وَمَا تَنَاكَرَ مِنْهَا. What? And the things that they disagree on and the things that they're opposed, like they have like the opposite type of traits in each other. What? اختلف. Then they differ from each other and they stay away from each other. And that's just natural, you know. That's the nature of the people. So you're not gonna always, you can't control that. You know, there's certain things that you can't control. You're gonna get, you know, you might get married to a woman, and once you live with the woman, you just realize, hey, we're not from those Junud and Mujannada. You know, you were over there and I was over there. You know, we're not in the same grouping, and you're just not gonna get along. You're not. You know, and then you might even become mortal like enemies afterwards. You know, and you might even have mortal combat in your house if you keep going, right? So the whole point is you try to avoid that. If you see, now this type of person, this is a person I'm just not gonna get along with. Actually, don't try to like, oh no, I'll just be patient. Yeah, we'll just work things out. Maybe if we have a kid, no, maybe you're gonna sit here and destroy that child's life, you know. So you know, once you see those types of things, khalas, if you feel that you can't give the person their rights, let the person go. Let the person go. You know. Once you know that. This hadith, by the way, it says, ولا رواه الأربع وصححه ابن حبان والحاكم ولكن رجح الترمذي إرساله, and that's the Sahih. It's mursal, it's ضعيف. The hadith is ضعيف. Alright, but as far as the actual understanding of the hadith is correct. There's just things that that we control, and there's things that what? We don't control. I mean, the love for a person is not within our, you can't make yourself love somebody. That's just the bottom line. Either you do or you don't. If you're from those Junud al-Mujannada, you have love for that person. If you don't, then you're not. Khalas. Alright. The next hadith, عن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال من كانت له امرأتان فمال إلى إحداهما جاء يوم القيامة وشقه مائل. Alright, so Abu Hurairah رضي الله عنه, he reported that the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم said, whoever from amongst you has two wives, فَمَالَ إِلَى إِحْدَاهُمَا, but he's inclined towards one. That means he gives her all the good stuff, and he just like, like he goes and gives her the high quality basmati rice, and here you take that plastic Thailandy rice, and here he'll go and get her good quality sheep, go slaughter a sheep for her, and like you take a chicken, or here just take some eggs of the chicken. You don't even get the chicken. So if he's like that inclined to one woman like that, where he favors this one woman over the other, then he's going to come on the day of judgment with shiqqahu ma'il. What does that mean? Yeah, like the side of his body is going to be ma'il. He's going to be tilted, just like he was tilted in his support for the wives and his nafaqah and his providing for the wives. He's going to be physically tilted on the day of judgment. Alright, this hadith rawahu Ahmed wal Arba', so wasanaduhu sahih, according to the zahir of the hadith is sahih. Alright, but Shaykh Muqbil rahimahullah, he narrated this hadith in his book, a hadith mu'alla, but there's a hidden illah about the hadith, and according to Shaykh Muqbil and Shaykh Yahya, the hadith is not authentic. It's not authentic, but the zahir, so the hadith and mu'alla. And when we say that a hadith is mu'all, what does that mean? Because you're supposed to be the one answering. See, I know when he doesn't know the answer, when he says, why are you looking at me? Because if he knows the answer, he'll look at me. Let them answer. But if I look at him and he said, why are you looking at me? I know he doesn't know the answer. He gives himself away right away, huh? And hadith is mu'al. It means that on the surface, when you look at the hadith, the chain of narration, it looks authentic. But then when you start to do some digging, and you start to, so this hadith, it goes back to the narration of Hamad ibn Salama, where he differed as far as who the hadith was narrated from. So the hadith is not authentic. It's not authentic. But like Like they said, that even though the hadith is not authentic, al-amal alayhi. It means that what we act upon this hadith, even if it's not authentic, because the hadith, even though it's not authentic, but the meaning of it is correct. And the action is about it, you know. But as far as being just, but not as far as like saying that this is going to be his punishment on the day of judgment, we can't say that because we need a hadith that's authentic. But as far as showing that the person has to be just between his wives, regardless of, you know, the hadith being, because both of these hadith, they agree with what? They agree with the ayah. You know, وَلَا تَمِيلُوا كُلَّ الْمَيْلِ وَتَذَرُوهَا إيش؟ كَالْمُعَلَّقَةِ. فَتَذَرُوهَا كَالْمُعَلَّقَةِ. All right, so it agrees with the ayah. So if that being said, خلاص, and the meaning is correct. But as far as saying that this is going to be his punishment on the day of judgment, you have to have an authentic hadith for it. And Allah knows best.
Oh no, is it? Oh, I thought the class is over. Oh, I gotta go.
Tired. You just got here. What are you?
I just had soccer practice.
Oh, okay.
Did you win?
I'm gonna go.
No, you need to get this practice.
Did you? I just had soccer practice. Did you win?
That was the joke. I'm surprised no one got it. Except for he got it. But did you get it? No. How did no one get that? That's what I'm shocked at. Junebug says.
This is the person's name.
Junebug 0903.
I don't need this whole information. Man. Junebug is enough.
Junebug. Sounds like a country boy. But I know we need niyyah for every act of worship. But do we need it if we're seeking forgiveness of
It's
Allah?
not that you don't need it, you have it. إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ. It means that every act of worship is based on the intention. You have an intention. Every time that you get up and do something, there's an intention behind it. But it's not that you need a niyyah, you have a niyyah for everything that you do. If you get up and eat, you have an intention for getting up and eat. You know, either one, it's because you know, the food just tastes really good and you just have desire to eat, or two, it's because you're really hungry, or three, you're like maybe, you know, you got like you want to go exercising a little bit, so you need some food in your stomach. Whatever, you have an intention for getting up and doing every single thing that you do. There's no action that you're going to do without an intention. Every act that you do. This is now the issue is about having the correct intention for what you do. What was the rest of the question?
But do we need it if we're seeking forgiveness of Allah and this is a form of worship?
Every form of worship, you need the correct intention. Yeah.
Hamid says, is cutting the unibrow allowed?
No, this is a part of taking away from the hajj. It's plucking the eyebrows. Do what the Chinese people did back in the past.
We can't trim our eyebrows.
No. So it's considered plucking the eyebrows. So just do what the Chinese people did.
Even though it's right here.
One of the women, like one of the women was born with small feet. So they turned it into a style, and then all the women started wearing small shoes to make their feet small, just so they could be like her, you know. So turned the unibrow into a style. So then everybody wants a unibrow, and people start shaping their eyebrows just to get a unibrow now.
So this counts as your eyebrow.
Yeah, that's your brow. Yeah.
Hamid says, so some brothers...
Hold on.
So for some boys, they're like 15 or 16. If they have a lihya, is it haram to cut it?
Yes.
That was like one of the fastest responses I've ever given. As I mentioned, so some brothers I know who go to school, it's pretty far distance, like 40 minutes. So I see brothers who just leave their sister in one way and they are with a different person. Isn't it safer to be with the sister and better?
Again.
So some brothers I know who go to school, it's pretty far distance, like 40 minutes. So So I see brothers who just leave their sister in one way, and
What do you mean leave the sister in one way?
Don't hang out
Like
with
when they're walking home, you know, he leaves his sister to walk home by herself.
No, you walk
And
with
he
your-
walks with his friend, instead of
Oh.
walking with his sister.
wow, that's not bad.
No, you stay with your sister. She's your woman. That's a part of your women. That's your nisa. You protect them. You leave her alone and walk with your friends. And who cares about your friends? Akhi, that's your family. And you stay there with her and protect her. You know, that's your job. Make sure that those idiots come up and try to talk to her and try to hit on her and try to do stuff. How you gonna sit here and just leave her alone? You stay with her. You walk with your sister.
Abu Nusayba said, can siblings sleep in one bed?
We already talked about it.
He says no, if they are in poverty or one is scared to sleep by himself. Like if they're in poverty or one is scared to sleep by himself.
If they're above the age of 10, they shouldn't be in the same bed together. And that doesn't matter. Just because the person's scared, the child's scared, doesn't mean you have to sleep in the same bed with the child. You can be in the same room. You don't need to be in the same bed. And once he reaches the age of 10, then no, you separate them in the beds. Because that's the type of stuff that leads to all this like Bati boy stuff, akhi. You know, leaving the boys where they stay in the bed together. Next thing you know, they start messing around, and no, man, you got a rainbow coalition going on in your house, akhi. No.
Mustafa said, when I pray, do I have to check compass every time to make sure I'm facing the exact Qibla direction? Or if I know the general direction, can I just pray in that
No,
way?
you don't have to check the compass. You can check the stars. You can check the setting and rising of the sun. You can check a lot of different things. But you need to make sure, if you know the direction that you're supposed to be praying in, then the direction is not going to change from salat to salat. You know, so it's like whatever direction you prayed in when you checked it the first time, it's going to be the same direction when you pray the next salat. You know, which is, I guess, a refutation of the kuffar saying that the earth is rotating, right? Because if the earth was rotating, then we'd be having to change directions all the time, wouldn't we? Interesting. Go ahead. No, kuffar said that the earth is like spinning. If it's spinning all the time, well, actually, no, I guess we wouldn't have to change directions even if it was spinning, because it's still the same direction, isn't it? Go ahead. I think we'd be pretty dizzy by now, though, if we're spinning like 1,000 miles per hour. Especially, you know the biggest refutation of that, about the earth spinning? How fast do they say that the earth is spinning? Like thousands of miles per hour, right? Go on YouTube where they have the astronauts in space, and they're up in space, and notice that the earth that is below them, it remains the same the whole time that they're up on the space station. But the earth was spinning at a rotation of 1,000 miles per hour. You would see the rotation while they were up in space. You'd see the earth below them moving.
If that's even the real earth.
What I'm saying, I'm just saying. It
If that
shows you
video was
space.
even real, yeah.
So the whole time that they're up on the video, the same earth is below them. It doesn't change. So if the earth's spinning, then why is it still, But, we're stupid and we believe everything. I'm not even going to the bubbles. Yeah.
Bubbles? What bubbles?
Go type in space bubbles.
I don't remember that.
We talked about it before.
What was that? That's when I was still working at a restaurant. But
Was I there?
No, Somehow, some way, these astronauts in the middle of space managed to blow bubbles. I don't know how this happens.
Because they're in the water.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm just saying, we're
yeah,
not
I
saying
know that.
anything because we don't want to make YouTube angry, and get fact checked by Snopes or something like that. But yeah,
they say you could blow bubbles in space, but the moment you take off your spacesuit, your head's just gonna smash like a
you
pancake.
can't blow bubbles because there's no air. But anyways, go ahead.
Junebug says, what is the difference between hadith and sunnah?
Sunnah is the practice. Hadith is the narration.
Wahir says, will Ustaz be covering Sifat al-Safwa by Al-Albani one day?
Sifat al-Safwa is not by Sheikh al-Albani.
Oh, Sifat al-Salat. صلاة الصلاة الألباني
was
وانت
by Ibn al-Jawzi. Sifat Salat al-Nabi.
قصدي هي صفة الصلاة الألباني. So
Maybe, possibly, I don't know. I plan to write my own book, but we'll see what happens, inshallah. I already started it, like the book on Salat, I started it a long time ago in Jacksonville. I already did like, I don't know how many chapters of it, but I just never got back to it.
Abu Nusayba says, can one be a mujtahid in seeking knowledge and against one's desires and nafs? Does this take precedence over jihad with the sword?
Yeah, man, I'm gonna say, but you trying to set us up, man? What's all your questions about jihad today, man?
You're gonna end up like someone we know about jihad and just never show up.
You can't. The first precedence that the first jihad is the jihad of nafs. If you can't conquer your nafs and you can't conquer shaitan, what enemy, what physical enemy are you gonna conquer? Nobody. If you haven't been given the nasr by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala over your nafs, over yourself and over shaitan, then what type of nasr do you expect over the people? What type of nasr do you expect Allah to give you? He hasn't even given you that. And what benefit are you for the people? And we went over that the last time, like, what was it, like maybe 2 lessons ago about Talut?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, that's about obedience, akhi. You get the nasr through the obedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You can't fight yourself and you can't control yourself, you can't control your desires, and what good are you on a battlefield? You're nothing, you know. That's what I'm saying, you know, you see like these dudes, these American military dudes, you see, that's why they have to have all that technology to win their wars, because their soldiers are too busy putting on makeup and stuff and dressing like women.
You see when the female soldiers in war, they're putting on makeup and crying, saying, I want to go home.
Yeah, they say, oh my God, and was there some video about some Bati boy talking about, you know, oh, the army doesn't allow me to put on my lipstick. You know, it's a dude out here. I'm like, alhamdulillah, boy, they're going to destroy themselves, you know. But to think about it, you look at the state that the American military is in, akhi, and that they control everything. Yeah, that's sad, akhi. That's a sad state. That's a sad state. That means that we are really, really messed up, akhi. We're really messed up. Yeah. Good.
Fatima says, is it according to her needs, like, so you have to get a dress if the other wife needs and the others don't?
I mean, because you might get married to a woman and her father bought her like a whole bunch of clothes before, you know, and she doesn't need it, you know, and the second wife you get married to and her father was poor, and she comes into the marriage with like half a shanta, you know, half of a, you know, what do you call that, like a suitcase of clothes. I mean, obviously, yeah, you're gonna have to get her clothes, and the other, but see, this is the type of thing where the other wife should understand. You're not doing tough deal. You're not like favoring one over the other. This wife is gonna have needs that this wife doesn't have. You get each one, you get their needs, but you don't, like, you're not gonna go, what we're talking about is buy her something that's like high quality and go shop at the dollar store for the other one. You know, because this wife, she grew up in a fancy household, and this wife grew up in a poor household, so you go to the mall and you go to the dollar store. No, I mean, in this case, no. But each one is going to have different needs at different times. You know, so based on the needs, like you might have, for example, you might have some rowdy kids with one wife, and you might have good kids with the other. So this wife, the kids are always breaking plates and breaking things. So obviously, you're going to have to go replace the plates and things like this for this one wife. And what is the other wife gonna be like? Well, we need plates too. You know, break them then. You know. So these are needs. You know, the needs come up in different. You know, but the thing about it is like how you like portion it. Again, you get good quality for her. You get good quality for her. You know, if she needs clothes, you buy her clothes. If she needs clothes too, you buy her clothes. You fulfill their needs. You know. So the same thing. If this wife has a child, this one's gonna have more needs than the other wife. You know, you're going to have to buy diapers. You're going to have to buy other things for the wife, you know. Not for the wife, obviously, you know.
The baby.
Yeah, the baby. You have to buy diapers for your wife. You're doing something wrong. All right.
Plus the dollar store, they got nice stuff.
Ah,
They do have nice stuff at the dollar
Yeah,
store.
they do.
They're really nice. Like, you could get a big box of Reese's Pieces or like a big box of chocolate for literally $1. A big box like this.
And you never ask yourself, why is it only $1 here?
It tastes good. Who cares, right? You know? Oh, Reese's. Yeah, Reese's.
Yeah, they're on crackhead mode tonight, man. Seriously. Go ahead.
I want to say this as, they say when is Ustad, like I know, but like, when is Ustad going to continue the book, The Disease and the Cure by Imam Ibn al-Qayyim, rahimahullah? The book is immensely beneficial.
Nah, inshallah, when I start reading, I haven't sat down. I started reading the tafsir of his Shanqiti, rahimahullah, Adab al-Bayan. I was going to sit down and go through all the books of Ibn al-Qayyim. So that's what I was going to do, is just take different fawaid out of the books about Ibn al-Qayyim. But I'm going to do that later. Because right now, I really wanted to read Adab al-Bayan by Shanqiti, rahimahullah. So when I do that, inshallah, I'll do that. But like right now, we have the disease for the cure for the sicknesses of the heart. We're going over Kitab al-Tawheed. At least we were, you know. And Sharia. So everything that we do, we study hadith, we study, you know, alhamdulillah, all of this is to cure the sicknesses of the heart. So, inshallah, khair.
Burrell says, can we give salam to Zaydiyas? So Zaydiyah.
Yeah, they're Muslim. You give salams to them. Give them advice, talk to them.
Like the general ladies.
The general, yeah, obviously, not the imams. Not the people calling to the, you know,
What if someone has a father and be like, and they call him to Zaydiyah? They'd be like, أنا مذهبي زيدي وأنا زيدي وأنا زيدي. Like كذا كذا كذا. Does he still give it?
What are you talking about?
Like if someone has a father like that.
Well, what's the difference between them saying, well, ana madhabi malik, maliki?
No, and he's like forcing it on, and he's like saying, kun zaydi, kun kada, kun hada. Makes sense, like he's forcing it on you.
He's jahil, akhi. You gotta have a level of patience with the people, man. And Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was patient with way more than we're patient with us. You gotta have patience with the people.
يعني لا تقولوا on the thing. Do I say no more talking about it or no?
No.
Okay. Abu Nusayba says, should we initiate or return salam from a fasiq or mubtadi'?
If he's a type of person who's been advised, you know, and you try to like sit down with the person and give him advice, and he keeps rejecting that advice and continues on in his fisq, you should refrain from even associating with that person. Period.
So what's the difference between a fajr and a fasiq? What's the difference between a fajr and a fasiq?
Fasiq is a moment, anybody that goes out of the obedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But fajr is generally used for like stronger immoral acts.
So like more emphasis.
So is it okay to say salam to Shia?
Depends on if their aqidah hasn't taken them out of Islam. But if they're like Rafidis, Ja'faris, Ismailis, and Ithna Asharis, and you know, and then no, it's not permissible to give them salams. Kufar. These are people that think that Ali knew the creation of the heavens and the earth when he was in the womb of his mother, and these are people that say that Jibril made a mistake and went to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and said to Ali, and that Ali is like whenever you hear thunder, that's Ali making the sound. This is they believe this is in their books.
They even say, some of the Shia, they say that Ali is the son of Allah. They imitate the Christians.
What about the people that used to think that Ali should have been the Khalifa? Like you say salam to him?
No, that's a mubtadi'. That doesn't take them out of Islam. But it depends on the situation. The Shia, the original Shia, they didn't none of them agreed originally that he should have been the first Khalifa. Nobody did. The original Shia, they disagreed about putting Uthman before Ali. That was the difference, not about Abu Bakr. Everybody knew that Abu Bakr was the rightful Khalifa, and everybody knew that Omar after him. They had a difference of opinion about whether or not that it was Uthman or whether. So if they're talking about a tafdeel, who's better, and they go back and forth about who's better, then that's one thing. But if they go and say, no, that this is wrong, no, it's not wrong. Allah wrote it that what? Uthman came first, and Ali came what? Second. Khalas, that's what Allah wrote. There's no argument. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wrote it, that's the way it was, that's the way you just deal with it. But those types of people, you give them, they're still Muslim, but they fall into a form of bid'ah by getting involved in these types of things. And so it depends on the situation. Again, you have like ignorant Muslims, who just like saying what the parents taught them or saying what their culture teaches them. You have patience with them. But then you got other people that are, they have knowledge. You sit down with them, you explain it to them, you show them the evidence, but they reject the evidence and then they continue calling it what they're calling to them. We don't associate ourselves with people like that because they have rejected the truth. They rejected the truth.
It amazes me. Amazes me so much. Let's say someone gets a fatwa from a sheikh. They'll ask a sheikh this fatwa, like another sheikh the fatwa. And the sheikh gives them a different fatwa. And they'll be like, oh, sheikh, when I gave me this fatwa. So why'd you go to the sheikh? Like right now. But,
Akhi, just ignore this. You don't have to like sit up
no,
here
no,
and
I'm telling you
لا
about different.
تنتقد كل شيء
This is بعض مش كل شيء. This is like one of
like I
like
said, man, the
one of
people
60.
the people that come here, they listen to the class, they a lot of the people they're here to learn. They don't know these types of things. So just be patient with the people. Akhi. Let them ask their questions. If it's something that you see is like goofy or something, just skip it. Skip it. You don't have to say nothing, you don't have to do nothing. Just skip it. Let the people know if your question didn't get asked. Either one, we didn't see it, or two, this guy skipped. Khalas. Because there's certain things that I just told him don't read.
Abu Abdullah says, the space station is rotating with the Earth. Why is it? Which is why the
How is the space station rotating with the Earth?
doesn't make sense.
If you believe that the space station is rotating with the Earth, then you need to stop playing PlayStation because that's messing up your mind. No, that doesn't even make sense because you're out. If they're in space, then that means that they're out of the stratosphere. So the stratosphere is moving in one go with the air. The rotation and the air and everything's going to be moving together, according to scientists. I'm not saying I agree with this, but that's what they say. So if they're out of the stratosphere, then how are they still rotating with the rotation of the Earth? That doesn't even make sense. Not even based on their own science. What, man? You can ask me a question at home, man. What's your question?
الرياح ينزل من الجبل أو من السماء.
أنا كنت لك 1000 مرة قلت يا أخي ذكرني عندما نمشي للبيت كل ليلة أنت تمشي وتطلع من قصص وتنساها. No? Alright, go ahead.
The questioner said, some women when getting henna, I think they meant to say, do it on their skin. Instead of using real henna, they use black hair dye, but it also dyes the hairs on the area, like forearms. Does this fall under the prohibition?
The henna's going to dye the hair on the forearms too. What do you think henna does? Henna's a dye also. So you think it's going to color the skin and it's not going to color the hairs.
Does this fall under the prohibition of dyeing hair black?
That's for the men, and that's talking about the beard and the hair of the men.
So women could dye their hair black.
They should avoid that.
Is it permissible?
I don't know. I know it's not permissible for the men. He said, and he yajtanib as-sawad, because he was talking to the men in that hadith. Yeah.
Same question. It says, if one has a book of hadith with the asanid, well, not every hadith is authentic. Is it better for one to read that daily or al-Bukhari, but online?
Again,
if one has a book of hadith with the asanid, but not every hadith is authentic, is it better for one to read that daily or al-Bukhari, but online?
read whatever you want. I mean, depends on the person, right? I would advise the people to sit down and read Bukhari and Muslim first, so they get an understanding of what the authentic Sunnah is. And before you start reading like Sunan Abi Dawud, Sunan al-Tirmidhi, because you're not gonna know. You don't know. You just like you said, you didn't know if the hadith is sahih or not. And what happens is you start to get confused. But if you like sit down, you read Bukhari and Muslim first, and you get very familiar with them, then you go on to the other books of hadith. So that way you have an understanding of what's authentic and what's not. Not saying that only Bukhari and Muslim are authentic, but the thing is from reading Bukhari and Muslim, you'll start to, and I'm not talking about just reading Bukhari and Muslim once. I'm talking about like read Bukhari, read Muslim, read Bukhari, read Muslim, read Bukhari, read like maybe 4 or 5 times, and then sit down and read like Sunan Abi Dawud. Because once you see those chains of narrations, you're gonna know, oh yeah, that's a chain of narration from Bukhari, that's a chain of narration from Muslim. So you'll know that the hadith is authentic even though it's not in Bukhari and Muslim.
What would be the conditions for a hadith to be sahih?
It has to be away from, it has to be Marwi and it's a person that's adil and adil. A person who's upright in his religion and he's strong in his memory. And then a person that, and it has to have connected. The chain of narration has to be connected and it has to be free from any type of shadud. Shadud, that means what? يعني بيكوني سنة يرويه عادل ضابط عن مثله عادل ضابط عن مثله. It means that al-adil, it means a person who's upright in his deen. So he's not a fasiq. If the person is a fasiq, we don't narrate any hadith from the person. We don't narrate anything. We don't take information from him. Alright. ضابط, it means that he's very precise in his narrations. Whether he's precise through his, like in the ضابط, it goes to 2 types. ضابط Sadr or Dabat al-Kitaba. So the Dabat and the Sadr, it means from his memory. That he's precise in anything that he narrates from his memory. If he doesn't have a strong memory, then he narrates from his books, from his writing. But he has to be precise and he doesn't make mistakes. Like he hears the Shaykh say it and he writes it wrong or narrates it wrong. If that's the case, then it's still not even accepted even from his writing. And mithlihi, that he narrates it from a person who's just like him. Just like him, just like him, just like him, all the way to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Right? But it's got to also be free from a shadud and any type of ilal. And a shadud, that means that one of the narrators who's more authentic, there's no contradiction or opposition in their narration. So like for example, like the students of Imam Zuhri, strong students of Imam Zuhri, they narrate the hadith like this. And then one of the smaller students of Imam Zuhri, he narrates the hadith opposite the way that they narrated. Then who we're going to take? We're going to take the strong students from Imam Zuhri, and we're going to say that hadith narrated from the smaller students is shad. It's يخالف الذي هو أرجح منه. So it has to be free from that. As long as it's free from all those things, then it's authentic. خلاص.
I don't know. You're going off tonight.
Who?
No, like there's a lot of questions tonight.
Well, just choose 1 or 2 important ones and let's go home.
Only 1 or 2?
Yeah, man, it's getting late. I didn't even want to stay this late.
Only 1 or 2. Remember that.
We have to make it worthwhile, man.
Only 1 or 2. Just remember, only 1 or 2. Junebug.
It's not related to what you see right now.
All right, then save it for later, inshallah. Yeah.
I don't even
Ask me after the class, inshallah.
Junebug says, seeking knowledge from the very beginning through the 5 pillars of Islam a good way to start? For instance, memorizing all the ayats and hadith pertaining to the 5 pillars and slowly increasing.
It's asking a question. Because that's the deen. Yeah. When Jibril came to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, سأله عن أخبرني عن الإسلام. قال الإسلام أن تشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأن محمد رسول الله وتقيم الصلاة وتؤتي الزكاة وتصوم رمضان وتحج البيت إن استطعت إليه سبيلا. قال صدقت. قال فأخبرني عن الإيمان قال أن تؤمن بالله وملائكته وكتبه ورسله واليوم الآخر وتؤمن بالقدر خيره وشره قال صدقت قال فأخبرني عن الإحسان قال أن تعبد الله كأنك تراه فإن لم تكن تراه فإنه يراك. So after he asked him these three questions, he asked him about Islam, asked him about Iman, and asked him about Ihsan, and he gave him the understanding of each one of these, and then he left, right? After he left, what did he say? After he asked him about the Ashrat al-Sa'ah, and then what did the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam say? He said, Ya Umar, atadri man sa'al, and what did he say? قال فإنه جبريل أتاكم يعلمكم دينكم. So he made this the deen. This is the deen. This is our understanding. This is everything that we need to know as Muslims is right here. And this is what we talk about because the importance is not placed on learning this information. The person should the very first and foremost information the person should know is La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah, and understanding it correctly. Not understanding it just as a statement with the tongue, but understanding it through the conditions of La ilaha illallah and the lawazim. And when I say the lawazim, it means what? The requirements. You can't sit here and say La ilaha illallah and never pray and talk about I'm a Muslim. Oh, but I bear witness to La ilaha illallah. Yeah, a lot of kuffar probably bear witness that none has the right to be worshipped except Allah. But that doesn't enter them into Islam until they what?
Follow the party.
Yeah, I mean, that will enter you into Islam as far as entering it, but you now to stay in Islam and to remain, you have to come with the lawazim. You have to do the actions that are required from you as a Muslim. You can't just sit here and never do any Islam, sit here and act like a kafir 24 hours a day, 365 days out of the year, and talk about what I said, La ilaha illallah. No. Where is the action? What have you done? You don't pray, you don't fast, you don't do anything. So the person needs to understand these types of issues. Needs to understand the salat, needs to understand the ahkam, and all of these are things that are incumbent upon the person to know. This is farad ayn. This is not that you do not have a choice in the matter. You can't be a Muslim that you pray every single day and you're ignorant about the ahkam of salat. No, you understand. You have to go out and you have to seek that knowledge to the best of your capabilities. You can't go into Ramadan fasting and you don't know the ahkam of siyam. It's all going to every single mufti asking them the most basic questions. No, this is wrong. You're a Muslim. These things that Jibril taught the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, came and asked the Prophet, and the Prophet responded. And these things are like incumbent upon every single Muslim to understand them. To understand them. All right, that's what he was taught. And he said, "This is your deen." So this is why you have Muslims that sit in Islam for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, and they don't even have the beliefs of a Muslim. They don't even have the beliefs of a Muslim because they don't even understand. You start talking to him about Iman and bil Qadr, you find out that he doesn't even have the correct understanding of al Qadr to be a mu'min, to be a Muslim. You know what I'm saying? It is, so this is the sad part. The understanding of the books, the understanding of the angels, and all the belief and what this entails. And you find that most of the Muslims, they don't even have the correct beliefs of a Muslim. That their beliefs are all messed up because it was never taught to them. That this was never the focus. It was never they never sat in the masjid being taught these things. Instead, they were taught what? Vote for this person, and politics in this person, and human rights, and we need to stand up, and what's going on in this country and that country, but then the most basic things of the religion were never even taught to the people. And you find the majority of the Muslims, especially American Muslims, 10, 15 years, and he doesn't even have the beliefs of a Muslim.
How can someone, they say if they're Muslim, how can they call someone who's corrupt?
Because they have a level of corruption in themselves. Oh, but then again, some people, they trust people, and that's another thing. Again,
So,
dang, just ask me when we leave, because we're trying to ask the last question. Because most of your questions, wallahi, they're repetition. I've answered all of them before.
Junebug says,
That's the last question. So make it count.
or should I focus on memorizing the Quran the way?
You should focus on understanding it, akhi. Arabic language is an obligation upon every single person. You need to understand the Quran, and you need to understand the Sunnah more than you need to memorize it first. First, seek to understand it, then seek to memorize it. There's no benefit of you memorizing something that you don't understand. You're just carrying around a bunch of what? Bunch of words in your chest that you don't understand. What's the benefit of that?
means that there is no God but Allah.
No, you seek to understand it. Go for the understanding. The first binding thing, the first obligation is the obligation of what? Learning the Arabic language. There's no way person, and I mentioned this, and it's in my book. It's right there in the book that I just wrote. So when you get that, you see the whole section. It talks about the things that I wrote a whole chapter on in the book about the things that help you that assist you with the memorization of the Quran. And the first thing that I wrote in that chapter was to learn the Arabic language, because to truly memorize something, you need to understand it. You need to understand it. That's how you memorize. That's how you keep it in your memory, is by understanding it, by acting on it. See, the thing about it is if we memorize the Quran, we don't understand it or we don't act on it, guess what happens to it?
You don't use it.
It gets taken away from us. Allah take it away from us. This is a huge ni'mah, blessing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you, that you can sit down with His book. If you don't give it its rights, it gets taken away from you. It gets given to somebody else. So this is the most important thing, that we have to sit down and seek to understand what Allah is saying in the Quran. And I brought the statement of Imam Shafi'i from a Risala at the beginning of the book, where he talks about the obligation. And in the previous book that I wrote in Seeking Knowledge, I brought the statement of Shaykh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah from Iqtida' al-Sirat al-Mustaqim, where he also talks about the obligation of learning the Arabic language. That's the primary obligation. If you're not doing that, if you don't have no raghbah, no desire to learn the Arabic language, no desire to understand the Quran, actually, what are you doing? Seriously, what did you become Muslim for? What did you become Muslim for? This is the Quran, this is the Sunnah, but you have no desire whatsoever to learn the Arabic language, to understand it. What did you become Muslim for? What was behind you becoming Muslim? This is the book of Allah. Oh, well, because the book of Allah is the truth, but you don't want to try to understand it. You don't even, serious. And this goes for the non-Arabs and the Arabs. Because the Arabs, especially you guys that came up in America, you have to also work to improve the Arabic language to understand the Quran. The Quran was not sent down in, Lughat al-Suq, it was sent down in the Afsah. This was the most eloquent of all the Arabic language. And we should seek to understand it. And the Prophet ﷺ also spoke with the most eloquent language. So in this, just learning that alone and seeking to understand that is so much of the refining of the character and making you a better person that goes into that. Because there's no way you can sit here and read and seek to understand the Quran and truly understand it and act stupid. How are you going to act stupid? If you really act stupid after that, then subhanAllah, then, what can you say about a person like that? But you see, the people that truly understand it, it changes everything about them. That's the obligation on a person. Seek to understand it first. You understand it, you got the Arabic language, you can read through the Sunnah, you understand it. You read through the Quran. If you come across something in the Quran you don't understand, you can go to the tafsir, you can read the tafsir, you can understand it. Khalas, inshallah. Now you can memorize. Or at least memorize and try to understand at the same time. But if you don't know the Arabic language, then that should be your first priority. The first priority should be learning the Arabic language. Trust me, man. I don't even I was in 10th grade in high school 5 times, akhi. 5 times. 5 times in 10th grade. Everybody said I'm the stupidest person, stupid, right? All the teachers. If I can learn Arabic, you can learn Arabic. You know what I'm saying? So it's not something that's impossible. So many people have gone overseas and they study and they're slow. You got people who slow, people who are fast. I saw people who were highly intelligent. They couldn't learn the Arabic language. Allah wouldn't let them. Allah just wouldn't let them. They studied, and they were very intelligent. Probably had a 4.0 GPA in their school. College preparatory type school people. They could not learn. And then I saw people that were out on the streets doing drugs, drinking, and they learned the Arabic language. That's a gift from Allah. So, if you're not getting that gift, I would be highly concerned. I would be very, very highly concerned if that gift is not coming to you. Like you seeking out to understand the book of Allah and Allah is not letting you understand it. That's some serious stuff, akhi. That's some serious, like, you know, you should be really, really concerned. Like you should be on red alert mode right now, if that's the case. Allah musta'an.
What's the best book, Ustad, that we can read to stand up on?
Tafsir, I mean, that's a good start.
Which one?
Like for you, because your Arabic is good. I mean, you can start with like Tafsir al-Sa'di, Tafsir ibn Kathir. No, al-Baghawi is more like, I use that more as a reference. It's not like a reading. You know, because Tafsir al-Baghawi is just like bam, 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 you know. Only in certain ayat does he go like in the detail, you know, where, you know, but other than that, like Tafsir ibn Kathir, you know, and yeah, I mean, if you want to just start off with something easy, really, really easy, Tafsir al-Sa'di. Tafsir al-Sa'di is like, he doesn't really break down the meaning of the ayat, the meaning of the words, the meaning, you know, he kind of gives like a general
history of like how this ayah, why did it?
Yeah, he's not gonna go into the asbab al-nuzul. He's not gonna go to like, you know, this ayat, you know, tafassir hadhi ayat, and you know.
Does Ibn Kathir do that?
Ibn Kathir does, yeah. Ibn Kathir, that's, I mean, if you're decent as far as your knowledge of the Arabic language, Ibn Kathir is the easiest. Like I would tell like somebody like an American who's still learning Arabic, yeah, to start with like Tafsir al-Sa'di, because it's easier. But his language is not that easy. No, mashallah, he's still an imam. He's going to send you to the dictionary regardless. But the way that he explained the tafsir, it wasn't even a tafsir. What it was his students recited the ayat to him, and just whatever came to his mind, he said it. And they wrote it down. And that's where the tafsir came from. It's not like tafsir. It was never meant to be called like a tafsir. And wasn't the purpose of it. The purpose was just like an understanding. Like, like I explained it to the people before, like if you could sit down with an imam, and just see how he ponders the Quran, like how he does a tadabbur, read Tafsir al-Sa'di. That's what goes on in his head when he reads these ayat. And he was just saying it, though. You know, he said it out loud and the people wrote it down. You know, so yeah, it's beneficial, but if you want to get to the understanding, like to really start with Tafsir ibn Kathir.
That was the last question.
You saved it until the end, huh?
No.